All right, I have the pleasure of bringing some very special people up to the stage. And if they can join me, give it up for Mr. Jonathan Brunasso, Zachary Bach, Edgardo Gonzalez, Emmit Summers, and Ryno Irwin. Thanks. Yeah. I've never done a panel discussion before. How'd I do, honey? All right. Still love me? All right. Look at this talent. All right, you got the best of the best. Have a seat. Let me take this one. You can slide down. Okay. So, I went to Staples the other day, found me a Soul Full of Sunshine notepad. They're not easy to find. And started thinking about, again, what we would do here in this team panel. Again, I've never had one before. And just to get engaged in discussion with the best of the best about what we're doing here, right? And again, this is all surrounding the Grand Slam events. And again, it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be in your newsletter. It's going to be your calendar. Don't worry about it. You know we communicate as well as any company on the planet. So I want to start with Mr. Brunasso, someone I had the privilege of meeting many years ago and having the privilege of bringing on this platform. You know Jonathan. He's one of the top solar guys in the world. I would say that Jonathan has been as instrumental as anyone in this company in pushing our corporate team forward, pushing the initiatives, making us better, sounding the alarms where we needed to get better, and really moving this company forward. And we thank you for that, Jonathan, and we love you for that. Please give it up for him. And we got this little man love thing going on. That's a separate thing, right? Okay. So, Jonathan, we're doing... He didn't grab me when he walked by. You saw that. He's behaving. All right, so Jonathan, we're doing this win-back event with you. We're going to do this a win-back event. So why now? Why do you think this is the time to do this?
Well, first of all, recently for me, I've had a few people come back, right? Has anybody had someone they talked to months ago, a year ago, maybe they used to work with Empower and they recently said, hey, Zach, hey, Ryno, can we talk again? Has anyone had someone come back recently? Show of hands, yeah? Yeah, so I feel compelled that right now, we've seen things in the news like SunPower go out of business, Titan, Lumio, you name it, half of the top 10 are under. And right now you're seeing all these amazing announcements, more that I don't even know about, and so what better time to do a win-back campaign? So what that means to me is, let's go back to talk to the people we talked to 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 6 months ago, a year ago. Let's revisit them. That human touch right now is more important than ever. And then, of course, we have different messages and promotions that we can share with them. So I've personally had people that 4 years ago told me to F off. They told me Powur is going to fail. Literally, this guy Jeffrey brought me to lunch to tell me that, to join his thing. And guess who just got fully onboarded as an installer in Southern California to be self-fulfilling? Jeffrey.
Wow.
Yeah. And I didn't want to like him or talk to him again, but you know, but I kept my composure, I kept in touch with him, I kept shining, and now he's back. So the win back campaign for me, guys, I want to create something that we can all get behind and all invite people back to. It doesn't matter if they strayed away somewhere else and went down here and didn't get paid or went over here. They don't have this. And so now is the time, and like Jonathan said, in 2025 to win back everyone we ever talked to, everyone that sold solar, or everyone that ever thought about joining us, period.
I love it. And again, folks, remember, that event will be strictly related to people that you're trying to bring back to the platform. It's not for the new person that you're engaging, because it's not your role to share with them the challenges that we might have been through or how we got where we're at. It's separate events, so please understand that distinction. And John, if you could take a minute, we're going through this first round pretty quick, and then we're going to try and wrap it out a little bit. So if you can share your story, you took a step back, right? And the privilege, we watched Jonathan earn tens and tens of thousands of dollars a month while traveling the world with his family, and engage, with his parents and just living a life that most people dream of. This was wow. He had taken a little step back from the platform to enjoy his life, and because of, quite frankly, the challenges of dealing with some of the things that life and the industry has brought us. So, Jonathan, maybe you could share from what's that like to still earn $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 a month when you're basically, and I'm not saying you're not working, of course, you're doing your thing, but you definitely had obviously taken a step back for all the right reasons.
Yeah, I mean, like we heard today, the last 12, 18 months has been tough for a lot of people. And I felt that, my brothers felt that, some of the teammates have felt that. But oftentimes in solar, you have your hills and your peaks, and then you have some valleys. A lot of people in solar may take vacation in Thanksgiving or January. If you still crush it, hats off to you, but you can ride different waves. And so doing this 10 years, the solar coaster is very real. And when net metering 3 came and we were all running like crazy, and then the prior summer contest I was running like crazy, the last 12 to 18 months for me, there has been some vacations. My parents both turned 60, so last year we went to Europe for 5 weeks. This year in March when my mom turned 60, we went to Europe again for a few weeks. And to do that with financial freedom, to still make tens, 20s of thousands of dollars, because this platform still runs itself. I can step away. We have other leaders doing training. We have Powur Calendar. We have meetings. We have resources, right? We don't have to be the CEO every day showing up all day long. We can step away with this model and with the income sources. So to make multiple 6 figures still passively and traveling, it's a blessing, and I just want to give back. Chris and I built another home in Mexico in June for our birthday. Got away for a week doing that, and so, yeah, thank you.
All right, so I'm going to forget the fact that he said his parents were in his 60s, right? We'll let that go, right? That's cool. We get it. And just, we are so excited about the Win Back event. And Jonathan, there's one more thing I would ask you too. What do you think are the best, real quick, just talking points to the person you're trying to bring back to that Win Back event?
Yeah, a few bullet points. If you're talking to a solar pro out there, Win Back event, it's really going to be like 2 to 3 fold, right? So number one, like I said, half of the top 10 companies are no longer here. Have you heard the news? Just open-ended question. Have you heard the news about SunPower, Titan, Lumio? Powur is a sustainable company, $17 million in the bank, Inc. 5,000 4 years in a row. We're doing it right. And by the way, we have brand new announcements. We have an 80-20 split. We have the best 25-year SunGauge loan in the industry. Guys, nobody has that loan. That's freaking sexy. Our Sonova payouts with what we can sell on Jinko and Tesla Powerwall 3s right now and how much we get paid and the price we can give the customer, do you guys realize how freaking good that is? And if you communicate that and share that to a solar pro, dude, we have the best loans, we have the best panels, we got this loan with no dealer fee, it's 25 years, nobody else has, we have the best equipment, and we do it in around 24 states virtually, you got to check us out.
Boom.
Come see these new things that we have and everything else we're going to hear these next 2 days.
And yeah, we are going to give you more and more ammunition, Jonathan. Thank you. Emmit Summers. Emmit, people don't know you. They don't know you've been an executive, with multiple companies. Emmett's a guy who I talk about being on the other side of money. He didn't get involved in Powur for the money. He got involved. He's got that same aloha Filipino spirit to give to others and lift the platform up. Emmit, you've created something beautiful in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia marketplace. Maybe you can share a little bit about how you've created this open-to-all mentality. It wasn't about this team or that team.
Well, thank you, Bobby and JB and all the executives and this Powur family, because I've never found this freedom in my life. I worked corporate America for 20-plus years. I was an executive, don't throw anything at me, for some of the top vertically integrated companies in America in solar. And at this point in my life, Bobby, I appreciate that because I can spend time with my parents, see my kids and grandkids. I can work on my ministry and work with a really great team in the DMV. DMV is not the Department of Motor Vehicles, by the way. It's the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. And I think the thing that really... Yeah, come on, guys. Give it up. That's the team right there. So I think there's 3 things, Bobby. I think the first thing is we don't stack the roster, we build a team. We don't stack the roster, we build a team. Anybody can put people in seats. And because they wear this jersey, we look for position players, right? We determine what our culture is, who are the people we want to bring in. So that's number one, Bobby and team. Number two is we reflect what we expect. So if we want teachers, and we want military and veterans, if we want first responders, if we want educators, right? If we want whoever we believe is going to carry this mission. That's the beauty of the platform, right? I used to work where I had 5,000 employees. Now we have, I should say, Bobby, I dare say 250,000 people on this platform soon. But you have to reflect what you expect. So we do a good job of that, I think, on our team. And then the third thing is really understand the calling as a leader. Sales is a sacred calling, and recruiting is a sacred calling. You're not talking about putting numbers on the board. You're talking about changing somebody's life. I can't remember what numbers are anymore. I have to look at the dashboard like you do, Bobby, right? I'm like, okay, that's a good number, I think. But I can remember telling the story of somebody that helped me back when I was nobody. I can remember wanting to pay that forward for the rest of my life. And I will tell you, that's one of the things that really drives our culture in the DMV.
I love it.
Yep.
I'm on those meetings. They're amazing. Again, these are the market development meetings. If you're not there, you're just not there. You don't get to learn. Remember, you recruit somebody in Maryland, you send them in and have them talk to a former vice president of a major solar company. If you're not doing that, why aren't you doing that? Why wouldn't you have every member? And now we're opening up Washington, D.C. on
October 19th.
October 19th. So
Grand opening, D.C.
How many of you are recruiting into D.C. now? I know I am, right? If you know anybody there, I'm going to get to them before you do, so you better be talking to everybody in Washington, D.C.
We need closers, Bobby. We'll have the leads.
Real quick, Ryno, because I jump ahead. Watch parties have been, not Ryno, I'm sorry, Emmett, real quick. Watch parties have been very big for you. Could you take 30 seconds to talk about
Watch
the
parties are great. So we're in a metropolitan area, so basically you got D.C., Maryland, Virginia all joined together in that diamond baseball. Go Orioles, by the way. And so what we do is we have three offices. We have a Maryland office, a D.C. office, we have a Virginia office, so we do watch parties. And we try to put people in there like our mentors, great mentors there in the back, I can see you all. We put our install partners in there. We had a little DJ station, maybe a kid station. We make it fun so that people feel like they're part of really a family, and it's less of a pitch. And that's not to downplay the Zooms that we have right now. It's just that's what we go back to again. Don't stack the roster. Create a culture, create a phenomenon. And I can't thank you enough, Bobby, because you taught me a lot about this.
It's my honor, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so remember, the win back, you're putting them in front of Jonathan Brunasso. Big victory. Now, on the Grand Slam event, you've got Cammie, you've got Jonathan, you've got Emmett, a former vice president of a major company, and you got this fellow from Hawaii, right, Ducky? We got this guy from Hawaii, right? Aloha, right? Most of you know Ryno by now. He made it happen. We weren't looking to go into Hawaii. He tracked us down. He knew what needed to happen. We all got a chance to spend time with him. He has lifted our company up. Some of you saw the news wire. We just signed a $150 million exclusive contract with Ryno and Hawaii United and Unified, and we are just honored to have him as a partner and a friend. And we're just so excited. So Ryno, I know you and I talked a little bit, you talked about for your event, hard commitments. Can you share with that a little bit about what that looks like?
Yeah, I think when we have people come to the events, and I like to use terminology is really important to me. I don't like to use the word sign up. I don't want to sign anyone up. I want to enroll them in what we're doing. And my definition for enrollment is getting something that you want them to do for their benefit. And so when we enroll them in Powur, the thing that's most important to me is that welcome call. Just like when you have a customer that's signing up for solar, when they join our team, we want to have a welcome call within a few hours, if not at the latest, the next 24 hours. And during that welcome call, I want to find out what's important to them, what questions do they have, what concerns do they have about joining Powur, so I can make sure that we're getting all those objections or potential excuses right out of the way. And then the next thing I ask them, generally they will have a lot of questions. And when they're all done asking the questions, I say, I have a couple questions for you. Are you okay with that? And the question I ask them is, what is your commitment to this journey? How soon can I count on you to complete your Tier 1 certification? Because the amount of time that passes between when they enroll and when they complete that Tier 1 certification is going to tell you right then and there how engaged in this business they're going to be. And then after they give me that commitment, I'm looking within 2 weeks. I want a commitment within 2 weeks. Anyone should be able to do a Tier 1 certification within 2 weeks. The next question I ask them, how committed and when can I count on you to bring that first bill? Those are the commitments I'm looking for, because that shows that they're going to get invested in what they're doing. And then I know that I can invest my time into them, into their success.
And what about the two biggies? The amount of time or the process getting that first bill and that first seller?
Yeah, I mean, the 2 weeks, that's it, 2 weeks. And if they're willing to do it in 2 weeks, then I'm willing to put my time into them and to help develop them.
I used to always tell people I will match their work ethic. You say you want this, you want $5,000 a month. Yeah, you got to ask people what they want. You can't lead someone to where they go if you don't know where that is, right? So I used to ask people, how much you want to make? You want to make $5,000 a month? We got a game plan for that. You want to make $10,000 a month? There's a game. You want to make $100,000 a month, which people make in this company? There is a game plan for that, right? So finding out that commitment, if they say they want something, then they got to take an action. And that includes that first bill, their own home to solar, which is a natural. First thing Jill and I did, getting your solar on your house. And our first experience wasn't great. Our first experience with solar was that Tesla, our partner at that time, put a $16,000 hole in our roof. That was my first experience in solar. I came home and told my wife, this is the big one. I'm getting in solar. We're going to build this great company, billion-dollar company. We're going to go public. We got to get solar on our house. Boom, my walls are caving in, right? That's how good Tesla was, Solar City. I didn't quit, I didn't roll over, I didn't die, I didn't split, she didn't kill me, right? We got the roof fixed. I found us 100 new, I dropped Solar City, and I got on the phone and found us 100 new partners, and we moved on, because that's what innovation is about. So again, you get a chance to put people in front of these guys with Emmit and Ryno, and when they find out their pedigree, you can invite the best of the best. There's no solar pros better than these guys. There are no solar pros on the planet, in the United States of America or in the world, than the people you are hearing from tonight. So don't be scared. Reach out new heights. Yeah, give them help. So go after the best of the best and put them in front of these guys. You don't have to know how to present. You don't have to be comfortable doing that. Watch them, take notes, but get your people on there and let them do their thing. All right, next, Mr. Zachary Bach. Give it up. You have a team, right? What's that called? I forgot.
What's the team called? There it is.
I love teams. There's just time to put down the swords on these events, right? and then time to pick them back up, right? So, Zachary, you're an expert. You've built some of the best systems in the company, some of the best recruiting systems, best training systems, without doubt. You've been at the top of the leaderboards. You've been absolutely killing it. And because you have a military background, I believe there's a rifle on your shirt, if I can see it, right? You have a very military sniper type approach to team building and recruiting and process. Maybe you can share that with folks.
Absolutely. So, the military doesn't use generalists. They use specialists, right? You have specialized shred out when you're in the military. And so I'm going to talk about 4 specialized shred outs real quick. Number 1, snipers, right? What do snipers do? One target in mind, focused on that target, and that's what it is. So let's talk about a contractor. One contractor. You're wining them, you're dining them, stuff like that. Next thing, you got machine gunners. Just as much as they can throw out there, right? They're just laying down as much fire as they can, hoping that they hit something. Next thing, grenadier. What do? They throw their grenade over the wall. Maybe it hits something, maybe it doesn't, they don't know. Next thing would be the medic. What's the medic doing? They're running around, they're helping people, right? Think about who we can help right now in this industry. But I challenge you to, what are you going to specialize in? Don't be a generalist. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I know a buddy of mine, who would be okay with being the number 2 solar professional in the world? Everybody be okay with that? A little bit of money in that, right? He finished number 2 in one of the largest real estate companies in the world, and he was mad about it. He was mad that he finished number 2. He was selling in Los Angeles, flipping apartment complexes in Beverly Hills, and he flew to the national conference for that real estate company. And he had one thing in mind, one thing that he wanted to do at that conference. You know what it was? Go meet number 1 and figure out what number 1 was doing. Now, my buddy flies in a private jet, $50,000 watch on his wrist, $20,000 suit, and he meets the guy from Tuscaloosa. My buddy is flipping apartment complexes in Beverly Hills, and he didn't beat the guy from Tuscaloosa. Now, how did the guy in Tuscaloosa beat him? He had a 90% market share of real estate in a town of 100,000 people. And he outsold the guy flipping apartment complexes in Beverly Hills. So I tell you this because you don't need to talk to everybody. You need to pick what you're going to focus on. You need to decide to be a specialist and not a generalist. Decide on your end goal, whether that's targeting in Hawaii, right? And figuring out, how do I partner with Ryno to really build my business here? How do you become the specialist that people look at and say, that's the person that I need to talk to? And so when you're building into these, when you're building your events, when you're building your team, decide what your end goal is first before you just decide to say, I'm going to build something big. I owe a ton of credit to Spencer. I didn't build all of our systems. I'm not the tech guy. I'm this guy. Spencer's the tech guy. So find your Spencer.
Yeah, for Spencer.
Okay? Find your tech guy, find your team, surround yourself, as Emmett said, with people that can be the right butts in the right seats on the right roster, because you can't do it all yourself.
Can you talk real quick about the styles and approach that you have to recruiting, your sniper mentality, your follow-up strategies, just real quick about the process you
Yeah,
use.
100%. So this is one of the biggest things, y'all, is you need to make sure that if you're going to recruit, your team needs to have systems. Okay? You need to have follow-up systems. And don't build bigger than you're ready to take on. Because if you recruit all these people, right, you bring all these people on calls, and you got 50 people on a call, but then none of those people get followed up with, where's the fortune in sales? It's in the follow-up, right? That also comes with recruiting. And so you need to make sure that you have the systems in place. You're able to follow up with people. You're able to plug them into stuff. Now, guess what? Do you need to have a robust system like we have built? Just plug them into Powur. Powur has built most of these systems. Bobby talks constantly about the market development meetings. One of the things I love that Bobby says is, if you don't get a market development, lose my number. You need to also be on the market development meetings, or your leaders need to be on there, right? I can trust that my tier 3s on my team are going to be there. So if I say, hey, hop on this meeting, our tier 3s are there, I know that they're there. But you have to enable your leaders to step up, and you have to show your leaders the way at the end of the day.
I love it, man. I love it. All right, give it up for Zach. Our next trainer here, if you will, Mr. Edgardo Gonzalez. Give it up for Edgardo. Edgardo has been a warrior with us since the beginning. He is hugely responsible for the Latino community in Powur, which is about 40% of our company, again, earning millions of dollars on the platform. He's been successful in business around the world. People love him, but it's the culture that he's built and all the process he built. Edgardo, maybe you can talk about it. I know we talked about this a little bit, the initial training, how important that initial training is.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you for everyone here in this panel. Yes, well, the first thing you need to know is you never practice on stage. So when you're talking to that person that you're trying to invite to Powur, I highly recommend that you practice before you talk to anyone. Look how you talk on the phone. Look how you talk in front of that people. Like, I'm pretty sure none of these professionals, are, improvising here today. So the first thing you need to do, never practice on stage. And as soon as we sign someone, we make sure, of course, that they know the platform, okay? Of course, they need to know that they need to get that certification done, which we help them as well, because this is our money and we don't fight with our pockets. So we make sure they pass that certification. But one thing we do is we have a system. We have a system of videos that we prepared. That doesn't mean that we're going to engage personally with them. So we prepare some videos already, and actually it's made by us. It's either me or Marco or people from our team, and we send it to them first. So tomorrow we're going to have this meeting at 10 o'clock about the platform, so you can know how the platform works. Can you please watch this video again? I learned that in college. When you see something first, it's easier to learn after when you see it. So then they already know and they can have questions for us. That makes our meeting real quicker. Then same with that, then we make sure everyone pass the certification, and we let them know that they were not going to be able to make money if they don't do it, okay? Also, we make, we let them make a strategy for what they're gonna do, how much money they wanna, we interview them, how much money you wanna make. Okay, and we know exactly what they need to do to get that kind of money. Some people, they'll be, oh, I'm gonna make $500,000 this year. Hey, okay, how many times are you door knocking? How many people are you calling a week? I mean, are you doing all the 4 ways that this company have to make money? And I'm going twice a week door knocking. Well, you're not gonna make not even 50,000. Okay? And of course, we always make a plan with them. We make sure they know the platform and all the trainings that are in the platform. We also establish the right channels of communications. If we have local chats, for example, we have 29 chats in our team. Like 3 for Florida, like 4 for Texas. So depending on where they live, they have a chat communication where we motivate them, because you need to motivate them. Every time someone make a sale, we post it. See, so they know that they are, people are doing it. And as you know, what one man can do, another one can. So we post, even when now it's great that Powur's, are you receiving the notification from Powur? Is that great? Oh, this person, just got a contract. So post that, and you're motivating 2 people. You're motivating the person that you just signed up and other people that are new on your platform and people that are asleep right now. So you make sure you train them, you motivate them, and of course, you drive them into these kind of events. It's very important that they come to these events, and not only that events, local events and Zoom events. We do a lot of Zoom events. We do trainings, weekly trainings, and they need to be there, because if they don't go to these trainings, they're not gonna get engaged. So we make the importance of be on those trainings, and not only that, keep their goals moving forward. You have to follow up on their goals, on a monthly basis. How much you're selling, how much what you sold, how many people you're talking every week. So that's very important, and I don't want to leave anything here. And the communication channels, ongoing training on the company. So you're not alone here. Powur have training on a daily basis. You have to connect into the system. Have you checked your powercalendar.com? Have you checked everything that you're doing? Okay? So get them engaged at all times in everything and show them the tools. One thing very important you need to do is we send them a script. Everybody that's starting here, most of them, some of them are solar pros, but a lot of them, in my case, they never sold solar before. So how important is to give them a script that you tell them, until you don't make $100,000, don't change it. Some people, they have their own script. Well, until you don't change it, please. And not only that, we send it, but we practice. If they are in my same town, I see them personally and we practice it together. But if they're away, in another state, we do a Zoom. And I tell them, okay, shoot that script. And I specify very clearly, when you're gonna door knock, practice in a mirror before doing it. So which is your best side? How you look better. How do you talk better? Remember, you're selling yourself. You're not selling a company. People buy from people. So the best you sell yourself, you're gonna be a winner.
Love it. Thank you, man. Give it up for Edgardo. Look, folks, I want to share something with you, and I want to get some final thoughts from everybody across the board. Building a team in Powur or anywhere else is about momentum. And I would suggest that all of you treat the business the way I'll treat it when I walk out of this room on Sunday, is that I have 0 reps. We have 0 reps and 0 customers. That's how you have to look at this thing. You got bills to pay, you got kids to put through college, you got elderly parents, you want a vacation home, you want that new boat, you want to be able to pay your bills in this economy, whatever it may be. And you got to walk out this door understanding that, pretend as if you've got nothing. You got to get that hunger back. Les Brown used to talk about that. I'm hungry, to understand what hungry really is. And to reset your clocks. Remember, whatever you take in this weekend isn't going to matter unless you have a plan going home. I challenge every single one of you on that plane ride home or before you leave or whatever, however you're getting home, to write down your plan for fourth quarter. Because here's what we know. We know we've got holidays. We know what's going to happen around Halloween with the kids. We know what's going to happen about Thanksgiving. We know what's going to happen around Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, New Year's. This is a pattern. This is a rhythm. I've been doing this for 25 years around the world, and it never changes. And it's different where we live in the Mid-Atlantic and the DMV, because when the days get shorter and the nights get longer and the weather changes, and it happens in the summer when people go to the beaches. But now, it's a magical time as we head into fourth quarter. People are thinking about a better, isn't almost everybody on the planet thinking about a better next year than they had this year, right? So this is your moment in time to strike. How many people do you know that love their job, that can't wait to get up to work and go to work in the morning, that love the people they work with, that love the culture? They don't have what all of you experience. They don't have what you have. So you have got to. You should be taking notes. You should be thinking about it at night. What am I going to do differently when I go home than what I've been doing all along? You want a different result? You got to put a different plan in action. You got to take a different action, whether it's work harder, work smarter, find new people, do all those things. But we know these things are happening, and that's why I built these events, to drive new momentum and find new talent as we head into the holidays. Jonathan, you got a new comp plan. You got new back office operations. You got everything that you have forced the hell out of us to do, right? You are driving force in some of this, right? Now we got this new plan. What's your plan for Q4? What are you going to do with all this building into these events?
Yeah, I think more important than ever, I wanted to say, the human connection, one-on-one touch, being together in person, having your team get together, more important than ever during this time. So that's one thing. The second thing, follow-up, guys. Follow-up is beyond important. It doesn't matter if you talked to them a year ago or they said no 3 months ago. Like, check in with them, always follow up with them. Some of the best people in this room took 9 months to follow up with, months to follow up with, weeks to follow up with. So follow-up game has to be important, and then that just human connection and touch has to be more important than ever to get your people together and get them to events like this. So 2 key things for team building, and then always add value to whatever it is you're doing, right? So you want to think about that. When you talk to your leader, hey, how can I help you? I want to share my goals with you. If you come to any leader here and say, hey, I'd love to share my goals or see how I can help you and have a brainstorming session, versus like, hey, what are you going to give me, or this or that. So always think about adding value, and your leadership will help you, and I will always pour value into my people and bring all these freaking amazing announcements to every human I can possibly touch. Do it on social media, BNI, networking, events, booths, do it all like I have been for 10 years. Let's go.
Love it. Love it, right? We got about 45 seconds each. Zach, same thing for you, man. We know what's happening. We know the holidays. We got these monster events coming up. What's your plan or your team to build into these events and take advantage
Absolutely. So Q1 for you should already be planned. We get paid 90 days from what we do today. So right now what you're doing today is going to affect your Q1. And I'm going to say one thing really quick. I'm going to give a shout out to Cammie and the corporate team on the organizational update emails that we're getting. Hey, Eric signed a deal last night at 5:35 is when I got the email. He was sitting 2 seats down from me. I looked over and said, hey, congrats on the contract. Yep. Right? That was so cool to be able to see, right? One of my tier 3s get a win, and he was like, wow, that was fast, right? That you got that. So huge shout out. Now, you realize that when you recruit somebody, they put a lead in, you get an email. Rod Obi, when he had his install, I immediately called Rod and said, congratulations on your install. I said, it was my own house. I said, well, then congratulations on your solar too. So make sure that you're calling your team. When you see them put that lead in, when you see them generate a proposal, call them and don't just say, just checking in on you. Hey, how can I help? What do you need help with on this? Do you have a tier 3 already assigned? Get involved with their business. That was the point of the operational or the organizational updates. And also, as John was saying, he will help. Call him, and he will absolutely help you with anything that you need help with.
Call him. Ryno, plan Q4, into these events, man. What's your strategy?
Well, when we launched Powur in Hawaii, everyone in the industry in Hawaii thought I was a nut. That was going a totally different direction. But You know, we disrupted the market, and we grew 130% last year, and all of our competitors had negative growth. So, you know, I saw what the platform could do then, and what we just saw here today. I'm going back to every single solar professional at all my competitors, and I'm going to recruit and enroll every single one of them.
My man. Emmit, we got monster events coming up, 4 Grand Slam events. What should the MV plan?
Well, go back to the original point I made. Number one, don't stack a roster, build a team. So different people stand up for different reasons at different times, right? Jonathan Budd talked about a catalyst this morning. You talked about momentum. Be a catalyst every day. Find a way to spark somebody and pay forward what somebody did for you in your career and your life. So that's number one. Momentum, spell it out. Right? Momentum's created at every moment. Be that catalyst. Don't say Plan ahead, like Zach said. Everything you're doing now should be 90 days ahead. And again, thank you, Bobby, for teaching us this and keeping us accountable, because it's not about what happens here, it's what happens next. And then what happens after that, right? So we've got a great plan of events. Thank you.
Give it up. Edgardo, I know you're the king of events, the master of events. We got Puerto Rico rocking now. We got funding in Puerto Rico. Edgardo's been all over that. Big deal for our company. Real quick, what's your plan for your team through these 4 events?
Yes, so as you know that we have done a lot of events, and we are planning to do several events starting October 16 in Tampa. So all the people from Florida that want to go, October 16, it's going to be a happy hour. We have a lot of fun with our happy hours, and yeah, people like it. Well, and of course, but we're going to have recognition, a lot of recognition meetings, starting from Texas, that now we're launching again in Texas. Somebody from Texas? And every city that we are working on, where our team is, we keep doing trainings, recognitions, and inform everyone. It doesn't matter. We can go again and repeat whatever we learn here to inform everyone in the platform of what's going on, so we can keep building that momentum.
I love it. Edgardo Gonzalez. Look, in closing, folks, I would say this to you. Pardon me, Minister. I don't give a shit what people think. I don't buy people's opinions. I don't care what they think. When we started this company above a clothing store on the beach in Southern California, people said we'd never win. You all heard me last night. We've done what around 1% of the companies in the history of the United States have done. Ford, IBM, name the companies, Inc. magazine, fastest growing companies 4 years in a row. $1 billion in revenue, 84 million, whatever it was, in commissions paid out last year. All these second-rate solar companies in the United States of America, we've never missed a commission payment in 10 years. I don't care what they promise. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they promote. I don't care how they lie. That's not us. We've also been a culture that has had, and I think all of you agree, wouldn't you? We have built a culture that is unsurpassed. We have the genius of the industry guiding this ship. The Elon Musk of the solar industry you will. We've got an executive team that is second to none. We've raised billions in venture capital. The announcements for this weekend aren't over. But I urge all of you, again, when you leave in this room, when you get back, when you're going home, drop whatever baggage you've got. Whoever told you you couldn't be this or couldn't be that, whoever told you solar's not a good investment, doesn't work, the panels cause more pollution than that, China this, China that, it's all bullshit. It's all nonsense. You buy someone's opinion, you buy their paycheck, you buy their lifestyle. We know exactly who we are. We know exactly where we're going. We always told you that we'd be the fastest growing solar company in the world, and we would change the industry, and we have held true to that every step of the way. And as we add new products, and we add new services, and electric vehicles end up on our platform, and we expand throughout the world, and we become a 10, 20, 50, $100 billion company, you'll remember. And you either ingrain that in your mind and your soul and your language and your personality and your posture, or you don't. People will follow you if they believe you know where you're going. You can't maybe this thing. You have got to ingrain all of this in your body, in your mind, in your spirit, your language. Take away from this your story. What are you going to be saying? You know my story. You hear it all the time in how I present it. What's yours? And your posture. They will follow you. Look for a whole new group of talented people. There are millions and millions and millions of people out there right now looking for a new career. Just because they said no 5 years ago doesn't mean anything. I've got install partners in this room today that I've been speaking to for 6 years. A solar pro, 4.5 years. 6 months it took me to get Brunasso. Months it took me to get Rachel. Months it took me to get Cami. You just cannot give up. Oh, they're out there on Facebook. They're out there on LinkedIn. They're at Latip. They're at BNI. Brunasso made $100 grand from BNI alone. There's an old wise saying that someone taught me, what do? You do everything. How often do you do it? You do all the time. So what the hell do? You do everything all of the time. Or Craig Bloom at every meeting, every event show, every craft show. Give it up for Mr. Grove. Just doing it all the time. You tell someone you will match their work ethic, you will match your intensity, and anyone that wants to talk to me about raising that game, building that team, creating a whole new wave of leadership, here's the magic words that I'm saying to people right now. Yes, we've done this. Yes, we've done that. But there's a magical moment in time right now in all companies. The biggest money makers in power, with all due respect, have not heard of our company yet. You'll override them. You'll override them. They don't know who we are yet. The question is, who's going to get to them first? Is it going to be you? Is it going to be them? Is it going to be me? You know I will recruit your girlfriend. You know I'll get your wife, right? I'll recruit your mother and your father and your children and your neighbor. I will get them if you don't. So let's put all of this into action. Let's leave here with a plan. Let's go crush every freaking solar company on the planet and be the greatest company in renewable energy in the world. Thank these great gentlemen.